Hello everybody, it's Brian for GadgetUnit.com, and in this video I'll be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy S5 for AT&T. If you are interested in picking this up, you can get it for $199.99 on contract or $649.99 unsubsidized, and you can also pay in monthly installments through AT&T Next. I would also like to thank them for handing this over to me for review. If you're interested in the full specs, you can go down below in the video's description, and there you'll find a link to our full written review that has all of the specs you could want. The side of the phone is ridged, as seen on the Galaxy Note 3, which should help a little bit with grip, but it can still be slippery at times due to the material and the finish of the actual side itself. The back cover is plastic, but it has a soft touch satin feeling to the dimpled design. Button placements include a volume rocker on the left side while the power button is on the right. They all feel pretty good to press and give you a good amount of feedback. You'll find an IR blaster and a 3.5mm headset jack at the top, a covered USB 3 port at the bottom, as well as its microphone. On the front, you'll find your 5.1-inch Full HD Super AMOLED display, your 2-megapixel front-facing camera, your earpiece, an LED indicator, as well as some sensors. At the bottom, though, you will find a home button, a back button, as well as a dedicated multitasking key. The home button also doubles as a fingerprint reader, so you can slide your thumb or other finger downward to unlock your phone, make purchases, and other things. The rear-facing speaker is okay, but it's not something that you'll want to use for long periods of time. The quality is just enough to get you by with very basic speakerphone calls and maybe brief periods of listening to music. Once you turn the volume up, though, it just doesn't sound very good. It's not a very pleasant listening experience. Basically, you'll want to use headphones or external speakers for long periods of time. The speaker placement also isn't very optimal, being placed on the back of the phone rather than the bottom or maybe the front, but otherwise, it's okay for general usage. The display on the Galaxy S5 is very good, as most displays are. Unlike last year's Galaxy S4, you can actually use this, for the most part, in direct sunlight. Viewing angles are superb. Color accuracy is good without being too oversaturated. The backlight itself can get very bright, or it can get very dim depending on the situation or what you would like to do. The phone came with Android 4.4.2 KitKat out of the box, running the latest version of Samsung's TouchWiz Android interface. They tried to dumb down a little bit on the overall amount of features that you get, and they have simplified the interface a little bit, and this is noticeable, but there are still a lot of features here that you most likely won't be using, and some of the stock applications such as email, music, and messaging could use some software improvements. Their interfaces just aren't very appealing or straightforward to use, and most of the stock applications actually hide the status bar at the top of your phone, and you'll have to pull down from the top to actually bring down your status bar for a moment. Not all of them are bad. The weather app, for example, looks really nice. And since this is an AT&T phone, it does come with a number of AT&T applications that you'll most likely never use, such as AT&T Locker and AT&T Navigator. But fortunately, you can either disable the app altogether in the settings, or you can simply hide the icon from the app list. Another new feature to the Galaxy S5 is a heartbeat sensor on the back of the phone, which for the most part seems pretty accurate, and combined with the S Health application can really help you keep fit. Like the Galaxy S4 and S5 active models, the normal S5 is actually dust resistant and water resistant up to 3 feet and is IP67 certified. So if you accidentally spill a glass of water on your phone, you'll be fine, and you could also take this in the swimming pool for some quick underwater shots if you would like. Performance is pretty good. For the most part, TouchWiz is pretty speedy, although like with most Samsung devices, you can still get the occasional animation sluggishness. Some apps do take a while to load, such as the weather widget on your home screen. Sometimes it takes upwards of 10 seconds after tapping on it for the weather application to actually load. I imagine some software updates can fix this, but it really should have been something that they've had finished at launch. Gaming performance is good as well, with solid frame rates throughout, although some apps are a little bit sluggish when it comes to frame rates. The USB 3 port, as we saw in the Note 3, is actually a very good addition. It really does make transferring files much faster than using USB 2, and of course this does matter if your computer actually has USB 3 ports. Now in my opinion, the strongest point of the Galaxy S5 has to be its battery life. In almost every usage scenario, I've gained at least 24 hours of usage from unplugging it to having to plug it back in, and this is with Wi-Fi off almost all of the time, because LTE does use more resources than using Wi-Fi. There are a couple of different power saving modes. You have a general one where you could turn the screen to grayscale or reduce the screen's frame rate, and there's also an extreme power saving mode, but that severely restricts how you can use the phone, but can achieve incredible battery life numbers. Call and cellular performance will vary by area, but for the most part, call quality sounded good. LTE performance was fine, where I was actually in a good area that wasn't congested and things like that. Camera quality is great. Using the 16 megapixel rear-facing camera, you can get some great shots, especially when you turn HDR mode on. The problem though comes with taking low light shots, because sometimes the phone will actually tell you to hold your phone still until it's finished taking a shot, and sometimes it takes upwards of 10 seconds before the phone finishes taking a photo. But when you're in areas with plenty of light, photos are taken almost instantly. The camera can also record 4K Ultra HD video at 30 frames per second. It's not very useful unless you have a 4K display, but you do have that option. Video recording at 1080p does look good, but for some reason I wasn't able to find my recordings, but I do remember for sure that the video quality was great. Overall, the Galaxy S5 is a fantastic smartphone with incredible battery life and a really good camera. I do believe that a software update could fix a lot of the software related issues such as the sluggish interface and some other things, but for now if you do pick it up, I think you'll be happy with it. If you're thinking about upgrading from last year's Galaxy S4, I would probably hold off until next year's model, but if you have something older than the Galaxy S4, I think it's a no-brainer to pick this up. If you happen to have any comments, questions, or feedback about this or anything else, feel free to leave those down below in the comments area. But that's it with the video, so thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you all very soon.